Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to take a second to talk a little bit about something that was on my mind as it pertains to hip hop. Now, I was deeply affected just yesterday. I just heard from a brother that I haven't talked to for 17 years since he was a teenager, and I remember that at that time he lived in a tough neighborhood. He was being pulled into tough situations. And I felt for him because he was a good kid. He was smart. He was he was just a gentle, good person. Didn't cause any trouble. Never saw him pick a fight. Never saw him hurt anybody that didn't try to hurt him first, of course. He also wasn't a punk. When guys would challenge him, he would fight back. He dealt with the situation that he was thrust into. But the thing was, I was worried because I felt like at some point a situation was going to reel him in that was going to get him killed or get him sent to prison. Well, years later, that's what happened. He got sent to prison, and when I saw him again, he was in his early 30s, and it broke my heart to see what he had gone through. I could see how his experiences had really shaped him in ways that really concerned me a little bit. Not to say that I still don't love him. I mean, I love this kid. When I knew him, back in the day, I loved him, and I hated the fact that we lost touch. But he's a different man now because you can't go through all that stuff without being a different person. And so that really inspired me to kind of really talk a little bit about what's going on with hip hop music and why I'm deeply concerned about the direction that hip hop is taking. It's not to say that first of all, I'm going to say that I love hip hop, real hip hop, right? And I believe that hip hop was not designed to teach black men to be thugs and to be killers and to hurt each other or to promote genocide. Hip hop was actually designed to empower black people, to get them to think, to grow, to learn. Hip hop can make you go pick up a book, or it can make you go pick up a gun, depending on how the power of that music is used. Now, I say that to make that clear that I am not just a friend of hip hop. I am part of hip hop. I am hip hop. So don't try to come at me with this crap about, oh, you don't like hip hop. You're attacking the artists. No, I'm not attacking artists. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm defending children from toxic music that is being used to destroy their psyche, to destroy their potential, to make them into something that they shouldn't be. Any psychologist will tell you that music and marketing does work. Marketing a consistent message does have an impact. You cannot go to Madison Avenue where they spend billions of dollars telling consumers what to think, what to like, what to buy. There are so many ad campaigns. Just even for example, when they tell you to drink 8 glasses of water a day, that's BS. The bottled water industry pushed that ad campaign forward and wanted people to believe that drinking 8 glasses of water a day was a bare minimum, but actually you don't need that much water. What's another example? There was even a time where consumers were convinced that cigarettes were healthy. That doctors, they tell you, this doctor says that smoking cigarettes is good for you. So consumers' minds can be shaped, and if consumers' minds can be shaped, if the minds of educated people can be shaped, the minds of grown people can be shaped, then you know that teenagers' minds can be shaped by the latest fad or whatever. Anybody who doesn't believe that that it has an impact really needs to go spend some time around these kids. Nobody can work around kids and then walk away and say, oh, well, kids aren't influenced by hip hop. It makes no difference. That's nonsense. And one place where it's extremely real is on the south side of Chicago. We have a type of music called drill music, which is basically, it comes out of the gang culture that has erupted because in certain communities there are no jobs, the education system sucks, and black kids are pretty much inundated with drugs and weapons. And so, in fact, there was one drug cartel in Mexico that was linked to a large percentage of the homicides in Chicago, a large percentage of the weapons that arrive in Chicago. And so, basically, drill music kind of comes out of that. The same way gangster rap came out of South Central Los Angeles, where the CIA played a role in getting drugs and guns into those communities. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. Go do your research on this, and you'll see these things didn't happen by accident. We know black people did not create drugs. We did not. We don't make guns. There are people who manufacture guns who make money by delivering those guns to war zones. And if you don't have a war zone, you create one and you sustain one. So on the south side of Chicago, you got brave men like Father Michael Flager who are protesting the gun shops where their guns just accidentally end up in certain neighborhoods and end up being connected to homicides. So that's the kind of courage that we're going to need to really fight this, because believe me, there are people who are making money from the death of your children. And if you don't care about the death of your children, then you can't expect anybody else to give a damn about the death of your children. It just is it's just never going to happen. So one thing I want to help people understand, and this is just a point of view. I'm not telling you what to think on this. I'm just giving you a perspective. A lot of people will say that hip hop music, that when I say that it affects the psyches of black kids and the actions of black kids, they'll come back and say, well, no, most of the kids who buy hip hop music are white. Most of the kids who buy hip hop music live in the suburbs. They're not affected. So, how can you say that black kids are affected? Well, here's the thing: people respond differently to the same visual stimuli based on how they identify with the person they're looking at on screen. When a white kid looks at a black kid on screen or a rapper on screen, he's not saying, "I want to grow up and be like that person." I want to grow up and be Two Chains, because Two Chains is black. Why would he want to? Why would he want to be black? Most, well, now a lot of white people. Some of the white people want to be black until it's time to really be black. Until you really have to go through the struggles of being black. Now they might think that certain parts of blackness are really cool, but for the most part, it's entertainment for them. It's a fantasy for them. It's this ghetto thug fantasy. It's no different from a middle class man looking at a porn star. He doesn't want to go marry the porn star. He doesn't want to become a porn star. He just enjoys the entertainment being provided by the porn star. And so, so effectively, when you talk about, some of the coonery that we see, the minstrel shows that we see in hip hop, not all hip hop is a minstrel show. We know that some hip hop is very conscious, very strong, very intelligent, but a lot of it is really very similar to a minstrel show. Think about a minstrel show 100 years ago, and imagine a wealthy white man watching the same show next to a poor black man who's really struggling. The white man's gonna look at this and say, "Woo, I love these boys is doing good. This coonery is beautiful. I love watching when they put on the black face. I love watching them tap dance. And boy, y'all are such great tap dancers. This is my favorite entertainment." He's gonna enjoy this. The black guy's gonna watch this and he's gonna say, "Well, okay, so." If I learn how to do that, if I learn how to coon, if I learn how to put on a good minstrel show, this white man will give me money. White men like him will pay me. This is my opportunity to get out of the hood. This is my chance to be successful. This must be what's cool, because the guy doing the minstrel show, he's rich, he's famous. People love him. White people even accept him to a point. I want to be in that space. So when you see something on screen or in a video or in a song, if you relate to the person delivering that information, then you're more likely to be affected and influenced by that person's actions. Also, we have to think about access to weapons. I don't know about you, but from what I understand, from what I've seen, most kids in the suburbs can't just walk down the street and go buy a gun like that. But there are some neighborhoods, particularly on the south side of Chicago, not far from where I'm at, where I live on the south side, where kids can just walk up the street and buy a gun anytime they want. Guns are not that hard to get. It's easier to get a gun than it is to get an education in many parts of Chicago. So when you have ready access to guns with irrational teenagers who are heavily influenced by media images that reflect who they are, that reflect people that are presenting an authentic message that represents where they come from and what they are and what they represent, they're going to be affected by that. If you watch a lot of the most toxic hip hop that's out there, you'll see rappers literally, it's almost like an indoctrinating brainwashing process where they will constantly rep to you their lifestyle because they want to appear cool, and they want people to gravitate toward the message. So you'll almost always see the same visual imagery in a lot of the really toxic music that's being promoted by corporations. I'm not really attacking the artists on this, because the artists, most of them are teenagers, 22, 23 years old. Now, old men like Two Chains should know better. Two Chains is intelligent, he's educated, he's old enough to be somebody's grandfather. He shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't be. He probably understands what he's doing, and I think he probably feels somewhat guilty about it. When I look at somebody like a Bobby Shmurda or Lil Durk or somebody like that, or Chief Keef, I really see young guys who are still perhaps need to be, and maybe they are being educated and acclimated to understanding how their music shapes their environment. But here's the funny thing: They know that it shapes their environment to a point, though. Chief Keef, even as uneducated as the poor dude is, he even said in a song that, or not in a song, but he said he said that his next album was going to increase the murder rate in Chicago. He actually knew this. He knew that his music was going to have that much of an influence on other people that it was going to potentially increase the homicide rate. In another song, he has another song with the chorus, "They do it for Sosa" or something like that, which says that if I tell somebody to go out and kill you, they're gonna go kill you. And this is not fantasy. This is not him pretending. He's not Robert De Niro. He's not pretending to be an actor. He's actually living part as part of this lifestyle. I mean, a lot of people have tried to link him to the murder of a rival artist who made a diss song about him. Now, I say all this not to attack the young people, but here's the issue now. If you have a message, a marketing message that is linked to real death and real homicide, and I can give you a lot of people and a lot of examples that will confirm that this is the case. Should a corporation is a good corporate citizenship to provide campaign financing, meaning to provide the financial resources that will accelerate that message, that will grow that message. When a rapper gets on YouTube and has 10 million, 20 million views, typically it's because there's a corporation that's financing the marketing here. And I'm talking about companies like Epic Records. And so my argument would be that if you go back to cigarette and alcohol manufacturers, you can't market cigarettes to minors. You can't market alcohol to minors. Why? Because when you market a message to impressionable young teenagers that leads to their demise or puts their lives at risk, then you are displaying bad corporate citizenship, and that's unethical. You could be sued for that. So if marketing cigarettes and alcohol to teenagers is deemed illegal and wrong and unethical, then what about marketing mass murder, marketing homicide, marketing black male genocide? So we have to really reframe our thinking here, and I'm saying this as a professor of business. I've been teaching finance for 20 years, so I understand very deeply how money works. I've also studied a lot of marketing and psychology. My expertise was financial psychology, so I spent a lot of time thinking about how people think. So these are thoughts that have really come to me over time. I'm working right now. Wrote an article for CNN about this, or it's HLN, their sister network, and I said I think companies like Epic Records, Interscope, etc., should be sued. Especially if there are people that can prove that your music is linked to violent activity, to the spread of gang activity, to all kinds of other activity that are leading to the deaths of young people. And at the very least, even if a lawsuit can't be won in court, because we know black people can't really get justice in the court of law sometimes, maybe people will at least become aware of the dangers of this music. And it's funny to me, this is the last point I'll make on this. I just saw where there was a dude who made it was actually a really funny song called "White People Crazy." And it was a fun song. He was just kind of basically showing all these videos of white kids just wilding out and doing crazy stuff, jumping off buildings and skateboarding down some steps, and and all kinds of stuff. And the video went to iTunes, and when he put his video and his song on iTunes, it got banned from iTunes. And it was also criticized by Huffington Post and some other places. And I thought, wait a minute, so the song "White People Crazy" should be banned from iTunes, but if I put a song on there calling black men niggas and thugs and gangsters and black women bitches and hoes, and a rap about murdering people and blowing little babies' brains out, that gets a thumbs up? I don't understand that. I hope that the hypocrisy is clear to you. And if it's not clear to you, then I encourage you to just, don't take my word for it. Go do some research on this and really think about it. We've been unfortunately brainwashed to a point to really believe that this stuff is okay. But I'm going to tell you, it is not okay. The real people are dying from this. Hip hop does not have to be dead. Hip hop does not have to be killed. Hip hop does not have to be injured by this. In fact, allowing hip hop to continue in the direction that it's been going is actually the greatest injury to a beautiful art form. The best way to support hip hop is to help hip hop get back to what it's supposed to be, which is a tool for the empowerment of black people and the spreading of a message that's going to make people feel good, that's going to lift you up, that's going to make you a better person, that's going to make your life better. It should not be linked to death, destruction, decay, and genocide. And that's basically what you're getting. We know that the conditions for this genocide was created by racism, but understand this. Toxic hip hop was also created by racism as a way to accelerate, motivate, and market the messages that are already linked to previous structural inequalities that are affecting our communities already. So that's my point there. Please consider those words. I offer them with peace. But guess what? When it comes to protecting my babies, I'm going to war. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Take care. God bless. I'm gone. Peace.